Kenya's political history cannot be complete without reference to YK92. YK92 in full is Youth for KANU 1992. I'll come to talk about them in greater details. Especially, I want to thank the younger generations, those who are born after the 2001 and on. They have inboxed me requesting me to talk extensively about YK92. KANU, like any other political party, had wings. They had women's wing. They had the KANU youth. Actually, we even had KANU youth, and at one time they were even being trained at APTC, Administration Police Training College in Bakassi. And in some areas, they were even more powerful, on the same level as APs, between APs. They were on the same level with APs, but below the general duties, Kenya Police. In some areas like Nakuru, they were alone on their own, KANU youth. They would even carry a lot of. They even in Nakuru they even had. They used to collect money. They used to collect money from matatus. Every matatu that enters the bus station would pay KANU youth those money. This one is not to be confused with Youth for KANU, because KANU youth was just a branch of KANU, and it was mostly associated with young people from poor backgrounds and whatever. But Youth for KANU 1992, YK92, was an elite group. It was an elite group of young millionaires who would be annoyed if you ever compared them to KANU youth wingers. In every election, I've noticed, usually young people are the youths, the 35 and below, are people who are usually associated with protest against the sitting government. If the government today was being ruled by the left, you'd find that the young people would always associate with the right. They are always complaining about the government. And if it is the right that is in power, they associate themselves with the left. You'd find that today, a lot of them are very sympathetic to Rigathi. They're very sympathetic to Rigathi because he's not in the power. But 12 months ago, they would not want even to hear Rigathi. So they are always on the side that is anti the person who is in State House. So when Daniel Arap Moi led KANU delegates in Kasarani to repeal Section 2A of the Constitution, there was a lot of concern that the youths may support the opposition and Moi would be voted out. So there was a concern that how do we pull youths into the ruling party? Another thing that worried the government then was that at the initial stage of Ford, if Ford would have stayed united, and if a person like Kibaki would not have created a Democratic Party, then Moi would have been kicked out. So there was a worry that how do we do that for Moi to continue? The first thing was, especially when Kibaki surprised Moi. You know, Moi wanted to be ahead of news. Then he was surprised when Kibaki said, he called a press conference and said that I've resigned as a minister, I've resigned everything, and I'll write a detailed letter to the president later. The president was learning about it the same time as you and I were learning. Actually, KTN used to be owned by KANU. There is an announcer, I think she was a lady, who announced it and was sacked. You can see how things used to be bad at that time. And that is why some of us had to lead the terrible life that we are still leading. So, Kibaki resigned. If Kibaki would have joined the two arms of Ford to make a united opposition, definitely KANU would be out. So the first thing that KANU did, or not KANU, we, the special branch, the intelligence, did was to send a number of people to abroad where Matiba was hospitalized to incite him not to step down. It was two people. On one side, uh, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was being told, don't step down for Matiba. And on the other hand, Matiba was being told, don't step down for. And it is our people who used to organize that. So that is how. But then that is how they came to divide the opposition. So the opposition, instead of being united, being one, it was three. Again, the government was not happy about it. So on 5th January 1992, at a hotel in Upper Hill, I think the hotel was Boulevard Hotel, five people met. Five people met. These people were rich, young, and powerful. Rich businessmen, young businessmen, ABCD. They met. One was Fred Kiptanui. There was Sami Kogo, Victor Kebenei, Joe Mwangale, and Joe Kimukung. Now you can see all of them, except Mwangale, they were Kalenjins. Kimukung is from my tribe, Sabaot. But you see, Sabaot are Kalenjins. So they met, and their biggest worry was one: how do we manage to place youths, young people, 35 years and below, to come and support KANU? I want to say this for clarity. There were five. Have you heard the name Jirongo anywhere? No. So these are the five people who met and decided to start Ford. No, not Ford. They started. They decided to start YK92, Youth for KANU 1992. They said that they wanted to borrow from United Kingdom's Labour Party youth movement. So the five proposed Jirongo. Now that is where Jirongo's name comes. When they were meeting on 5th January 1992, Jirongo may not even have known that they were meeting. But when they sat down and decided to start the YK92, a lot of names were suggested. And when a lot of names were suggested, they agreed on Jirongo. Said that Jirongo he was not known by a lot of people, but they had the capacity to know that Jirongo was very good in mobilizing people. So Jirongo did not create YK92. YK92 created Jirongo. Then they looked for 23, they spread themselves 23 throughout the country, throughout the republic, 23 rich youths. And then they started early recruitment using the cell system. Cell system. How does cell system do? I can tell you it's similar to Ponzi system or pyramid system, where we are 3 people. We decide all the 3 people, each one has to recruit 3 people. Now, if you have recruited 3 people, those three, now how many are there? Those are 9. Then those 9 will also recruit 3 people each. That is 27. Then the 27, that is that. So you find that within a week, you have thousands of people, and any information reaching to those people, any information reaching those people would be very quick. That is when, and you see, these 5 people had connection to the president, and the president was a very worried person. But you see, he was concerned about his re-election in 1992. So they reassured him that they would bring in the youth. So they had a quick access to him. But mostly they used 3 of Moi's kids. There was Gideon. Jonathan was in it, but not very much. And then there is John Moi. For your information, June is said to be an adopted daughter of Moi. But the truth is, Moi, having been saved while very young and leading a monogamous family, akipata mtoto wa kando, it is easier to say that it is an adopted child so that the wife can accept her in that way. What I'm trying to say is that if DNA is done, most likely it will be found that she has Moi's DNA. But the saying here is that she's his adopted child. The official starting of the YK92 was started on 4th March 1992 at Nyayo Stadium. 4th March 1992 at Nyayo Stadium. This is the system that YK92 used. They decided that whenever the opposition could go to a place, there was several systems that they were doing to scare the opposition from going to certain areas. That is a fly past in honor of Inspector General, Honorary Inspector General. Now, the system that they used to use was heckling. The opposition could arrange a meeting somewhere, and then they would go there and heckle the opposition people. They also started vote buying. Now, vote buying those days were this way. You know that a certain area, let's give an example of Kisumu. You know that Kisumu people would obviously vote for Jaramogi. So what they would do there is they would send people there and line up so that anybody coming with his voter's card, as you surrender your voter's card, and to some extent even the ID, you give out those documents and you're paid some money, so that they eliminated the chances of you lining up on the voters' day. Then there are some areas that they declared to be KANU zone. They declared it to be KANU zone, such that they just told the people, that you should not come and campaign in KANU zone. And we have cases where vehicles were burned and riots used to happen. There's even a time when Kibaki used to be attacked when he would go to areas that were classified as KANU zone. The other tactic that they were using is to consolidate the KANU area. Remember, I've told you that they were buying voters' cards and IDs in areas like Kisumu, where they knew that chances of KANU getting votes in that area were minimal. So they would send somebody to. I've already said we buy votes, but then in areas that were seen to be KANU areas like Baringo and so on, they would go there and watu wa Swahili wanasema kuhamasisha watu wa area hiyo kuhusu mambo ya kura. They also caused disunity among the political parties. Now, when they caused disunity among political parties, the best example is the Matiba Jaramogi issue on Ford. They also did it in various other places, such that when you're having your apex meeting for your political party, somebody could confront you and say, "What are you doing this and this?" And then you, with this side tells the other side, they tell them, one person tells the other, I know you are doing this and this against me, whatever. Wacha hivi hata mimi. So that disunity is the YK92 used to get briefs from special branch to do that. And they even brought in a very, very educated people. Kina Professor, was it called Mwanzi? Whereby the newspaper, which used to be called Kenya Times, they had something that they used to call it KANU brief. These are the things that they would use that opportunity to malign and spoil the names of other people. They also had this system, like one time they wanted, you see, they had even made arrangements for various leaders in the opposition to be given money and then confront each other. I do believe that apart from Raila, those days alikuwa hajaanza kupocket vitu. Apart from Raila, whom the intelligence were unable to crack, but most of the opposition, they cracked them and bought them. My second cousin, Omalwa Kijana, they even had to find a house for him. They used to give, he used to have problems in paying rent and this was just it. And then again, they looked for a better placed house where they could visit him, which was Runda area, where, staying in a place like Madaraka Estate and people start visiting you, it is easier for people in your group to know that you are being visited, and then whatever. So you could be visited there. Although later, when he became the vice president, also the landlord used to complain that he had not paid rent. But in 1992, that is 10 years earlier, they had taken him to a better location, and they did that. They convinced the government to print more money. They printed money. I will talk about the 500. I'll talk about the 500 shillings note. But it was not the 500 shilling which was printed. It was all the currencies. It was all the currencies. But you see, 500, there is a special mention of the 500 because of it came out at around that time. So they printed money. The government printed money. What does printing money mean? You see, we have economists who look at the economy of the country, and then they say that the government should print, let's say, 2 trillion shillings, 2 trillion shillings. But then when the economists say you print 2 trillion shillings, the central bank then prints 2.5 trillion shillings. So they place a lot of money in circulation. And when they place a lot of money in circulation, inflation comes in, especially if the money is given out left, side, and center. You find that if sugar is bought at 120 and everybody has money, a shopkeeper can decide to sell sugar at 150 because he'll still find people to buy. So there was printing of money. Also, Goldenberg sent gave a lot of money to YK92 because of its what do you call its dealings. They were told some of the money that they get, they should forward it to um, YK92. Then there was also NSSF. NSSF, they looted a lot of money from NSSF because NSSF, as you know, it's where people save money for retirement. Now, when the money was there, a lot of it, YK92 went to NSSF into the strong room and collected a lot of money. Another place was Kenya Post and Telecommunication Corporation. For the millenniums, you may not understand that, but we have Kenya Posta and we still have telecom. Yeah, we have telecom telephones, isn't it? So telecom and even Safaricom. Safaricom also used to be part of KPTL. So Kenya Post and Telecommunication, Kenya Post and Telephone Company, you can say that. That is what happened. I believe Goldenberg gave out 158 billion shillings to YK92, but you see, YK92 was answerable to nobody. So it is believed that it was 160, yeah, 160 billion, but only 2 billion can be accounted for. 158 billion is never known. It is never known. Uh, I wanted to talk about the 500 shillings. That is why I paused for 2 seconds. Uh, when Jomo Kenyatta was alive, or when I was in primary school, Kenya, when Kenya even started its own currency, we had the following currencies. Uh, the highest denomination was 100 shillings. Highest was 100 shillings. The second one was 20 shillings. 20 shillings note. There was a 100 shillings note. There was 20 shillings note, which was blue, and it was equivalent to a British pound. That is why you hear Kenya people referring to 20 shillings as bao. And then there was 10 shillings, which was green, and there was 5 shillings, which was rangi ya chapati or rangi ya mkate. That was 5 shillings. Those are notes. And then coins, we had 2 shillings coin. Yeah, we had 2 shillings coin, which was called rupee or rupiah, which was equivalent to 1 Indian rupee. We had 1 shilling note, no, 1 shilling coin. Then we had 50 cents coin, and we had 25 cents coin. People used to call that one pesa nane. I don't know why they called it pesa nane, but you see, 25 cents people use when you go to a shop for change. You'd be given when you go to a shop for change. Someone would confuse 25 cents with 50 cents. So that is why cheap things or fake things used to be called pesa nane. So we had 50 cents sumni, and we had pesa nane, which was 25 cents. Then we had 10 cents and 5 cents. So that is the money we had. Then somehow, after Kenyatta died, Moi first of all brought in the coin of 50 shillings, so that between 20 shillings and 100 there's 50. And later on, he brought in uh, the coin of 200 shillings. He brought in the coin of 200 shillings. Then around 1992 is now when he brought in the 500 shillings note. So that is the time when it was the highest. And you see the YK92 used to go to the bank and be given a lot of 500 shillings. That is when they started giving out. And since it came out at around the time when YK92 was out, that is when it was nicknamed Jirongo. Yes, the government printed the money. Yes, government printed the money, but it is not just 500. There is even rumors that somebody was given the 500 shillings Not and when he tried to buy a vehicle or something using that amount, he was told that is fake money. No, that was not that. The government printed a lot of money, as I said, 160 billion shillings, of which only 2 billion can be accounted for. 158, nobody knows where it went. But the government printed in all denominations, in all of them, 500 shillings, 200 shillings, 100 shillings, 50 shillings, 10 shillings, 20 shillings, all notes were printed, but not just 500. Later on, the government came up with the 1,000 shilling note. And I think I've explained about the 500 shillings and the printing and whatever. Around November, just before the elections, there was a civil war within YK92. There was a civil war within YK92. On one hand, there was Jirongo and his team, and the other one was Sam Nyamweya and his team. According to the interpretation of Jirongo and his team, the issues were that YK92 was to campaign only for the president, only for the president. Any other position, which of course that time there were only two positions, MP and councillor. Any other position, YK92 as an organization was not to campaign for anybody. But then the team that was led by Nyamweya started campaigning for people. Nyamweya went and set up an office in Kisii. By then, Kisii and Nyamira was one district. So he went there and if he wanted to be nominated in KANU, you would see him, give him something, and then he would give you the nomination paper. And Jirongo was saying, no, we are anybody wanting to campaign, let them not be involved in YK92. Then there was also Gerard Bomet, who was the vice chairman, deputizing Jirongo. He wanted to contest the South Baringo constituency, and Jirongo was saying that he should not, he should get out of YK92 and campaign on himself. According to Jirongo, there was only one person who was allowed to officially be apart from the president. Those days they did not have a running mate. Apart from the president, YK92 as a corporate only recognized one candidate. That is Sami Leshore. Sami Leshore was the only person that YK92 would whatever. But let me tell you one thing. In 1992, I was an inspector of police working with the special branch, and Sami Leshore was a chief inspector of police working with the special branch. He was our coordinator between YK92 and the intelligence. As I said, those days, the intelligence used to collect, like one way of trying to cause problems in an area was to send different people. I told you that there is a way we could send people with information to Matiba, while at the same time we could send to Jaramogi with. So the main coordinator was Sami Leshore, and that is why the YK92 was, that is why YK92 only officially recognized Leshore. YK92 also, as a corporate, started disagreeing with KANU leaders. I can remember 3 of them who are not comfortable with YK92. They were not comfortable with YK92 because they felt that after elections, this YK92 would be the powers behind the throne, would be powers behind the throne, and they would turn against them. These the three. There were many, but I'll just mention three. One of them was Saitoti. The other one of them was Saitoti. The other one was the Total Man, Biwot, and Kamodo. But then YK92 started even spreading rumors. And if you can remember, Moi was somebody ikija mambo ya rumors hizi, not just rumors hivi hivi za kuchimba wengine. YK92 even spread information, if I can remember very well, that Saitoti had licensed some people to go and deposit toxic nuclear waste in northeastern province. But as I can tell you, it was just meant to create hatred towards Saitoti. YK92, when they were meeting the president and agreeing to campaign for the president, had entered into agreement that Moi start grooming young people to take over from him. And the person who was mostly being mentioned was Musalia Mudavadi. But they were saying that at that time, in 1992, Musalia was 32 years, less than 35. But in their long-term plan was that when Moi retires, then he hands over the authority to our age group. By the way, in that age group of YK92, that is a person like Musalia Mudavadi. Actually, the person they were really fighting for was Musalia Mudavadi. This one, of course, did not please the older generation. Moi also told them, promised them before the 1992 general election that the, the 40 leading, I told you that they started 5, then they brought in Jirongo to be 6, and then later on they had 23. Now 23 plus 6, that is around 39, let's say 40. They were also to look for another 40. I'm saying of 23 plus 6, that is 29. So they were to look for other 11. Is it 11? Yeah, to make it 40. They even registered a company. They registered a company of 40 shareholders. The intention of the 40 was that after Moi was elected in 1992, the plan was that the company that they had started, Moi would start offloading parastatal after parastatal to that organization. Can I pause there? Yes, let me pause. The 40 started a company, and actually they registered the company. And the intention of the company was, after Moi was elected in 19, was re-elected. Is it re-elected or elected? Because if you go to the truth, some people had argued that Moi was not supposed to be to stand for election in 1992 because he had been elected more than twice. But Moi argued that the constitution was new, so it would be counted that he's starting to be the president in 1992. So they agreed that in 1993 or somewhere there, their company, which had 40 shareholders, would form a company, and Moi government would start selling parastatal one after the other, to that company that they had registered. I pause for the second time because unapojiuliza Adani Airport, Adani Ketraco, Adani Shashe Shishofu, Adani Panipep, yani you now know why I post, and you know what I'm reasoning. So these 40 were to form a parastatal, which was to, you would find every time a parastatal they were to form a company. Every time a parastatal was being sold, it would be sold to that company. It would be sold to that company. Now you know why I post twice. Each member was also promised that after Moi has been elected in somewhere in 1993, each and every one of the 40 people would be given 5 million shillings. There is a company that they started, which was supposed to be which was to buy parastatals, and on top of that, so that company never won even one of the contracts, but it was formed for that. And again, they were promised that each would be given 5 million shillings to do whatever business he or she wanted. Just that, kupewa 5 million. But when Moi was re-elected, I want to tell you that politicians, first of all, if you are used, if a politician uses, if you really campaign for, let's say, Moi, and is elected, he would first of all try to get rid of you so that you don't rule him from. He doesn't feel he owes you anything. So, and then they started after election, especially Jirongo. Uh, a day will not pass without him blasting the elderly in KANU. I remember one time when he attacked Saitoti, and that is the excuse that Moi was waiting for, and he banned YK92. So they stayed that way with no access to KANU. But then in the year 2002, Moi again regrouped them with an intention of reviving YK92. That was around 2002. But then many of them had moved on. Some had even, you see, a person like Ruto, he had already been an MP for 5 years. So many of these people had already moved on, and they were no longer interested in YK92. So it was later formed and called Kenya KANU Action Group. And again, a lot of people moved away from it because uh, KANU Action Group was ordered to campaign for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And you see, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was a Johnny come lately because, as I said in this recording, that the initial intention of YK92, they had a soft spot for Musalia Mudavadi. So that is how KANU Action Group never came up. I don't know at what point did Mudavadi and Jirongo differ, because they have differed forever. Lastly, I want to tell you that in 1992, YK92 was not the only one which was fighting for pressure group, were fighting for Moi's election. There were several, and in those days, you wanted to be a millionaire, you just start your own group. The second most powerful was called OMW, Operation Moi Wins, which was being headed by somebody called Ondieki. Viewers, with those so many remarks, that is YK92 for you. Thank you.